Before we start reading Chapter 8, let's look at the important words in Know Canada, Chapter 8, on page 69. A symbol. Symbols are things that they're images that stand for something or represent something. The maple leaf is a symbol of Canada. National identity. We see in the word identity the initial letters ID, and maybe you've heard of an ID card or an identification card. So a national identity would be something that identifies us as Canadians. Coat of arms. A coat of arms is a symbol that families or countries or organizations can have. And the coat of arms has symbols in it, things that stand for or represent that family or that country. So all of these words kind of go together: symbols, national identity, and coat of arms. Independence. That means that you don't need help from anyone if you're independent. And so a country can declare independence from another country, which is the case for the United States and Canada that declared independence from England. Uniforms are types of clothing that look the same so that all the people that wear them can be identified as belonging to the same group. So the military has uniforms, and some schools in Canada have uniforms. Headstones are stones that are placed at the head of a grave in a cemetery. And we're going to read that sometimes the Canadian leaf is a symbol, and it's carved into headstones for Canadians or Canadian soldiers. Veterans are men or women who have served in a military. This word is a little confusing because it sounds like veterinarian, which is a doctor for animals, but it's pronounced veterans. Official just means that it's the real thing. We see the word office in official, and so when you do things in an office, it's quite real or serious or significant. We're going to read about the official flag of Canada. A colony, of course, is a place to live. We can even have ant colonies, but I think in our reading this week, we're going to be studying about colonies that were part of England at one time. The provinces of Canada were originally colonies that belonged to England. Historic relationship. It means that we have something to do back in our history with things, and we have a historic relationship with England and with France because our country has history that has happened from both of those countries for many years. Constitution, we have to remember that Canada created its own constitution in 1982. But we also remember that confederation means when the colonies came together and became the Dominion of Canada, and that happened in 1867. And the first provinces to join confederation were Quebec, Ontario, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. The other provinces and territories joined Confederation later. We remember July 1st, 1867 as Canada Day. Royalty means anything to do with the king or the queen of a country or the royal monarchs of a country. A motto is a saying. Here we have one that says, "I can do hard things." That's a motto, something you might repeat to give you encouragement. Here's another motto: "In God we trust." We find that on some of the United States coins or bills. Canada has a motto, "Amare usque ad mare," which is Latin, meaning in English, "from sea to sea," or in French, "d'une océan à l'autre." An anthem is a song or a poem, and we have a national anthem that we sing, O Canada. On special occasions, we also sing God Save the Queen, which is also a royal anthem. Sovereign is another word for the king or the queen, or the single ruling person of a nation or state. Armed forces is the word that we use to signify the military. We will read that the military uses the Canadian leaf as a symbol on their uniforms. The final word that we'll study of the important words for Chapter 8 is minority or minorities. And this is talking about the smaller number of people that live in a certain area. For example, in Alberta, French-speaking people would be a minority. We have other ethnic groups or religions that have smaller numbers than most of the people. That's a minority. I will also be posting a video to help read Chapter 8, but these are the words that we're going to find as we read through Chapter 8 in Know Canada.